Right, hello you lot. I'm going to do a quick screencast here about showing you a model of A-star writing in the GCSE Literature exam. Particularly, I'm going to show you a model of the poetry. Right, well, first of all, I'll show you where I got this model from, actually. Very easy, very straightforward to find. If you go on Google, you Google AQA English, GCSE English Literature, you'll get to this page here, this top page. Click on that, and it'll take you to this, the AQA page, and then you can go to, well, get past papers there, or you can get exemplar material. Okay, so if you open the higher paper, you'll get to this document. Oh, no, sorry, that's not it. This document, and that'll tell you, it'll give you 5 scripts, it'll show you what marks they all got, and then you can go and look at them, basically. Right, so quickly then, why this one is an A-star, this one is actually full marks. So let's have a look, just see what's so good about this. It begins, Mother Any Distance, Havisham, The Laboratory, and My Last Duchess all use a first-person persona which gives us insight into the personality of the speaker, and with that, their relationships. Now notice, please, that this, as an introduction, is really straightforward. There's a temptation, I think, if you're going for A and A-star, to be overcomplicated sometimes. This very successful candidate has quite simply introduced the poem, said what 4 poems they're going to write about, and found one point of comparison between them in their introduction. You can also, what they've done is they've used the key word of the question in the introduction. So they've answered the question straight away. There's no messing around, giving background to the poems or whatever. It's straight on it. Right, here we go. In Mother Any Distance, Armitage uses a variation on a sonnet form. Armitage uses a loose structure in his form which doesn't conform to the features of a classic Shakespearean sonnet. For example, there is a short 15th line which provides the climax of the poem. It parallels with the boy leaving his mother's home, and shows how, at the end of the poem, the relationship is breaking apart. Now, why is that a good quality A-star piece of writing? Well, I mean, it's the basics, really. It's getting the basics right and then being sophisticated within that. It's a clear topic sentence. It's showing understanding of form, not just what the poem means, not just the imagery, but it's showing appreciation of form and structure. Now that is an A-star indicator, and you get students writing about form, pace, intensity, these things that are specific to poetry, really, rather than just writing about imagery and alliteration. It's fine to write about imagery and alliteration, of course it is, and this student does go on to do so, but an A-star indicator, I think, is the ability to write about form and structure with real confidence. So think about that in your revision and think, are you prepared? Do you know what you're going to say about the form and structure of each poem before you go into the exam room? Let's have a little look on. I've got a couple of minutes left. So Havisham uses 4 4-line stanzas which are very uniform in line length. This could show how cold and calculated she has become as a result of her soured relationship after she was jilted by her lover. The enjambment and caesura through the poem shows how, like the poem, she's become mangled and broken by her relationship. See, that's just a nice point, isn't it? Personally, I'd like to see an example in there, but the example would give him full marks, or her full marks. So nice phrasing, isn't it? It's well phrased, and it relates to the previous point. So we've talked about the form of Mother Any Distance, and we're moving on to a comparative point about the form of Havisham. And then it goes on. The 2 poems by Browning are both long dramatic monologues, so we're still talking about form here. You can see how there's a real coherence. They're picking on that aspect of the poem, form, and then they're looking at all 4 poems systematically to explore that. My Last Duchess has a very positive masculine rhyme scheme which shows how the Duke of Ferrara is thinking positively about the Count's daughter whom he wishes to marry, in spite of the horrible fate his last wife has suffered. He therefore sees relationships in a very callous way. Look at the way that point's developed. He doesn't let go of that point. He says he therefore sees relationships in a very callous way. Right, I mean, I would suggest now that you guys go and have a look at this essay yourself, and go and investigate what it is that makes this a successful piece of writing.